today. First, good morning to all of you. And today we are going to discuss about the conquest of Mysore. As we know that the British, they expanded their states, their territories by expansion, and in this regard they also want to have Mysore as their territory. So in this video we will discuss about how they conquest Mysore. Actually, Mysore was a powerful state. As our topic is the conquest of Mysore. So we will discuss here about all these 4 battles were fought between them. Mysore was a powerful state in the south. Hyder Ali, he was the ruler of Mysore, and his Tipu Sultan. Actually, Hyder Ali was the ruler at that time, and after him it was led by, or he was succeeded, Tipu Sultan. They both were in the position of British. They built a powerful army, and as I told you that 4 battles took place between the rulers of Mysore and British. First Anglo-Mysore War. Hyder Ali defeated the forces of East India Company in Madras in 1767. We can say that first Anglo-Mysore battle was fought in 1761, and in this Hyder Ali was succeeded to defeat the British army. And in the second Anglo-Mysore War, the British captured Mahe, which was under the French. Mahe was the French Union territory, and British captured Mahe. This angered Hyder Ali, and he challenged the British. Hyder Ali and Tipu Sultan, they both were in favor of French. They don't like British, and when British captured Mahe, the French Union territory, that it made Hyder Ali angry, and he challenged British. Hyder Ali died in this war. In which war he died? He died in the second Anglo-Mysore War, and after that he was succeeded by Tipu Sultan. Tipu Sultan was also very brave. He is known as the lion, Mysore lion. And he continued the battle. And what was the result of the second battle of Anglo-Mysore War? What was the result of second Anglo-Mysore War? It ended with a treaty, and this treaty is known as the Treaty of Bangalore. In first, British East India Company was defeated. The forces of East India Company was defeated, and in the second, a treaty took place. That treaty is known as the Treaty of Bangalore. And the important things in this battle, in the second Anglo-Mysore War, was that Hyder Ali was died. Third Anglo-Mysore War took place when Tipu Sultan prohibited the local merchants to trade with the British. As I declared you that Hyder Ali and Tipu Sultan, they both were in favor of French. They were not supporting British. And what were the reason for the third Anglo-Mysore War? Tipu Sultan, he prohibited the local merchant to trade with British. The local merchants were not allowed to have their trade with British, and this made British angry. They took 2 of his sons as hostages and defeated Tipu Sultan. What did British took? British took his 2 sons. They were kidnapped by them, they were hostages by them, and in this way Tipu Sultan has to enter in a treaty, and this treaty was known as the Treaty of Srirangapattam. And what happens according to this treaty? According to this treaty, Tipu Sultan has to give half of his territory. He has to give half of Mysore to British. According to which treaty? According to the Treaty of Srirangapattam. Fourth Anglo-Mysore War. In the fourth battle of Mysore, Tipu Sultan lost his life Mysore was given back to the royal family, but they have to enter in the subsidiary alliance. In the first battle, in the first Anglo-Mysore War, Hyder Ali defeated the British, and in second Anglo-Mysore War, Hyder Ali lost his life, and a treaty took place because the war was continued by his son Tipu Sultan. And in third battle, the British, they hostages to son Tipu Sultan's two sons, and in this way he has to enter in a treaty, the Treaty of Srirangapattam, and he has to give half of his territory. And what was the result of fourth Anglo-Mysore War? In the fourth Anglo-Mysore War, Tipu Sultan lost his life, and what happens? The Mysore was now, it was fully under British control, but the British gave back Madras to the royal family, to the family of Tipu Sultan, but the family has to enter in the subsidiary allies. War with Marathas, just like Mysore, just like with the rulers of Mysore, 3 battles were fought, 3 wars were there before, from the Marathas. The first Anglo-Maratha War ended in 1782, and how it had ended? It had ended with the Treaty of Salwai. No clear victory was there. Actually, they entered in the treaty, the Marathas and the British, they entered in a treaty, and that treaty was known as the Treaty of Salwai. No clear victory was there. And second Anglo-Maratha War, this war was fought on different front. As the result of this war, the British gained the Maratha territories north of the Yamuna River, including Agra and Delhi. Agra and Delhi was the part of Maratha territory at that time. And what was the quality of second Anglo-Maratha War? This war was not fought at a single place, it was fought on different front. And in this way, the British, they gained Maratha territories north of Yamuna River, and Agra and Delhi were also in there. Third Anglo-Maratha War, in the third battle of Maratha, the Maratha power was crushed by the British. It was fully ruined. The Peshwa was removed and sent away to Kanpur with her pension. Actually, we know that after Shivaji, his son and his other son and his wife Tarabai, they also not Tarabai. After that, they appointed Peshwa and they were looking after the Maratha territories. But what happens in the third Anglo-Maratha War? Then in the third Anglo-Maratha War, their power was crushed and they were sent to Kanpur. Peshwa were sent to Kanpur, and they have fixed a pension. As they fixed the pension for Mughal Emperor, they were giving 26 lakh rupees to the Mughal Emperor Shah Alam. Just like that, they gave pension to Peshwa and he was sent away to Kanpur. Many strategies were there. Actually, they were using different strategies to capture the territories. Now we will discuss about this. Subsidiary alliance, it was introduced by Lord Wellesley. It is an important question that who introduced subsidiary alliance. Subsidiary alliance was introduced by Lord Wellesley and he was the Governor General of India. According to this, the state who has entered in subsidiary alliance, they got security but lost their independence. What was the quality of subsidiary alliance? The state or the territory who has entered in this subsidiary alliance, they were having security. The British East India Company was providing security for them, but they have lost their independence. Now they were under the British rule. Indian rulers were not allowed to have their forces. According to the subsidiary alliance, the Indian rulers, they were not allowed to have their forces. they were supposed to pay a fixed sum to the company. However, they were not having forces. The forces were under the British, but the Indian rulers, they have to pay fixed sum for the company. Direct annexation, as we discussed, first it was subsidiary alliance, and second it was direct annexation. Direct annexation means using force to take control of a neighboring territories. In subsidiary alliance, the states or the territory, they have to enter there, they have to sign it. But what was direct annexation? In direct annexations, the British, they were using forces to take control of a neighboring territory. Surat, Travancore, Carnatic, these were the places which were took over by this method. By the direct annexation, Surat, Travancore and Carnatic, they were took back. The doctrine of lapse, it was introduced by Dalhousie. If an Indian ruler died without a male heir, then the kingdom would not automatically pass to his adopted heir. This kingdom would lapse and become the part of Union territory. First, it is important to discuss the doctrine of lapse. Actually, in that period, there was, we can say, there was monarchy, and the son was the heir of the territory. But if some person was there who is not having their own son, they cannot adopted any son. If they have adopted, then the territory will not transfer to the heir. जैसे हैदर अली का हमने देखा कि आफ्टर द डेथ ऑफ हैदर अली, हिज son become the ruler of Mysore. But if some king was there or some ruler was there who was not having their own son, they cannot adopt it. After their death, their territory will not transfer to the adopted son, but what will happen? It will become the part of East India Company. What were the places? Satara, Sambalpur, Udaipur, Jhansi, and many other kingdoms were annexed by this method. Actually, Satara, Sambalpur, Udaipur, Jhansi, these were the important territories. They were the important kingdoms which were annexed by the method of doctrine of lapse. And who introduced doctrine of lapse? He was Dalhousie who introduced this. Policy of paramountcy. Policy of paramountcy, it was introduced by Lord Warren Hastings. According to this, British were the supreme power in India than any other power. They used different strategies, different policies. First, they introduced subsidiary alliance, after that direct annexation, and after that Dalhousie introduced the policy of doctrine of lapse, and the policy of paramountcy, it was introduced by Lord Warren Hastings. And according to this, British were the supreme power policy of paramountcy, it was introduced by Lord Warren Hastings, and according to this, British were the supreme power, no other power. Either they are king, they are Peshwa, they are Maratha, they are emperor, no other was supreme after the policy of paramountcy. Pretext of misrules. Different strategies were there, as we discussed. Subsidiary alliance, direct annexation, doctrine of lapse, policy of paramountcy, and just like that, they also annexed some part as the pretext of misrule and misgovernment. Which part was annexed by them? It was Awadh, which was annexed by the pretext of misrules. Dalhousie annexed Awadh, that no rule is there, government is not there, and on the basis of misrule and misgovernment, Awadh was annexed by Dalhousie. Anglo-Sikh War. British also moved to Punjab, and Punjab was the place for the Sikhs, and they also have some battles, and Maharaja Ranjit Singh was a great ruler of Punjab. The British had an eye on Punjab. Punjab was independent under the rule of Maharaja Ranjit Singh. Maharaja Ranjit Singh was a great ruler in Punjab, but Punjab was a very prosperous state. Then British wants to have Punjab in their territories, and after the death of Maharaja Ranjit Singh, two battles were fought. It is not forces, it is wars. Wars were fought with the Sikh kingdom, and it was annexed by the British. They want to have Punjab, but it was independent. Punjab was independent under the rule of Maharaja Ranjit Singh. But what happened after his death? After his death, two wars were fought with the Sikh kingdom, and in the end it was also annexed by the British. What were the reasons? What were the reasons for the success of British? Actually, Indian rulers, they did not want to give up their comfortable lives. The Indian rulers, they were living a comfortable life. They don't want to have a battle, and that is why they entered in subsidiary alliance. They don't fought any battle, but they entered in the subsidiary alliance because they don't want to give up their comfortable life. There was no strong leadership. It is the main reason. It is an important reason. If main leadership should be there. Actually, India was divided in different parts. In Maratha, in the Mughals, and Murshid Quli Khan, he declared himself independent in Bengal and Bihar. That is why Punjab, it was under Maharaja Ranjit Singh, and it was a part of Sikh territory. And in Mysore there was Hyder Ali. No particular leadership was there in India. There was not a single rule. That is why they succeeded here. The British succeeded here. If any strong leadership there, a strong leadership should be there who can check the British, but no leadership was there in center. That is why British succeeded here. There was no unity in the Indian rulers, and it was beneficial for the British. It is also an important point that the Indian rulers, they were not unite. They were having their own territories, and they think that the British are not coming in our territories. They are fighting with others. If they were fighting with Marathas, then Mysore were happy. When they were fighting with Mysore, then Marathas were happy. Then no, they are fighting with Mysore's. And after that, when they were fighting with Marathas, then other, as Punjab and other territories were there which were not having any support to them. That is why British succeeded in India. British army was better trained. It is also an important point that they were having better trained, better occupied army, and their army was also disciplined. But the Indians, they were not having any trained army. Only Mysore was there who was having trained army, and in Punjab, Maharaja Ranjit Singh tried to make their army powerful, but other rulers, they were not having disciplined and trained army. Now it is the time for revision. I want to revise it in short now. In first Anglo-Mysore war, Hyder Ali was defeated, and in second, Hyder Ali died. Hyder Ali died, and in this war his son Tipu Sultan, he continued. And our treaty, it is also important which treaty took place in the second Anglo-Mysore war. It is the Treaty of Mangalore. And in the third Anglo-Mysore war, a Treaty of Srirangapattam took place. It was the Treaty of Srirangapattam. And in Fourth Anglo-Mysore War, Tipu Sultan lost his life, and Mysore has to enter in subsidiary alliance, and they also fought with Marathas. In first Maratha war, a treaty of Salbai took place, and when it came to end in 1782, but no clear victory was there. And in the second Anglo-Maratha war, it was fought on different front. It is also important that how it was fought. It was fought on different front. And which territories were under the British now? Agra and Delhi, and some other territories up to Yamuna, they were under the British. And in third Anglo-Maratha war, Peshwa was removed and he was sent away to Kanpur with a pension. And in the regard of their success, the British, they fought some, they used some strategies. What were their strategies? It was subsidiary alliance introduced by Lord Wellesley. And what was the main feature of this? The state who entered in subsidiary alliance, they got security but lost their independence, and the Indian rulers, they were not allowed to have their forces. Direct annexation. The British, they use forces to take control of our neighboring territories. Important cities you have to mention, you have to learn: Surat, Travancore, Carnatic. These were the cities which were annexed by direct annexation. And the doctrine of lapse, it was introduced by Lord Dalhousie. Lord Dalhousie also pretext by misrule, and it is important. The doctrine of lapse, it was introduced by Lord Dalhousie. And if an Indian ruler died without a heir, then the kingdom would not automatically pass to his adopted heir. And what were the kingdoms which were annexed by this method? They were Satara, Sambalpur, Udaipur, Jhansi. Policy of paramountcy, it means that British were the supreme power in India. No other power in India was supreme. Pretext of misrule, Dalhousie annexed Awadh. Dalhousie also introduced the doctrine of lapse, and he also annexed Awadh on the basis of misrule and misgovernment. Anglo-Sikh war, they also fought battles. They also have a war with Sikhs. The British had an eye on Punjab, and Punjab was independent under the rule of Maharaja Ranjit Singh. But after his death, the Singh kingdom was also annexed by the British. What were the reason for the success of the British? The reason, the Indian rulers, they don't want to give up their comfortable life, and no strong leadership was there to check the activities of British. There was no unity in the Indian rulers. British army was better trained, better occupied, and better disciplined than the Indian army. Now it is enough for today, and